welcome to Wisdom Academy. Today we're looking at IGCSE ICT theory, paper 1, which could be 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, depending on the variant you're looking at. So today, this chapter is still chapter 5, data type and organization, which this is where database is derived from. And then today we will be specifically looking at the data organization. Okay, we'll be looking at the data organization. Now, first of all, what do we mean by organized? An organized set of data is usually referred to what we call the database. When you organize your data in tabular form, in an orderly manner, we call it a database. So database is actually data that has been super organized, that have been super put in a very nice way, that have been illustrated in the best of ways, probably using a table or probably using any other concept. Okay, so we say a database is simply an organized set of data that has been put into classical arrangement. For example, we're putting them either in a table, we created a field for them, we created a record for them, a field, and we put them in a very nice tabular order. So data of different people, multiple people, with various fields, various information, put in a very organized manner in a tabular form, is called a database. It's called a database. So databases can be a little difficult to understand sometimes, but we know if we follow through carefully, it's going to be easy. So we'll try to illustrate the whole concept with diagrams so that it's clear to us. First of all, before we do that, we say databases can be found at the heart of every computer system. Why? At the heart of every computer system you have databases, because we have databases of users, we have databases of files, we have databases of web pages, we have databases of photos, blog entries, databases of products, and so on and so forth. So databases are everywhere, okay? Just that you don't know that these things have been organized. You just use, you don't know the work behind it. So you are about to learn how to organize informations in a very orderly manner. And that organization of information or of data in an orderly manner, in a tabular manner, in a very structured manner is called database. Now let's take a look at all the Benis. Let's say this is Beni Anode here, this first one, Beni Anode here with the big guy. And then let's say this is Beni Blaze with super big guys. Let's say this is Beni I Better Pass My Neighbor, okay, with small head and big eyes. And let's say this is Beni Futosima with big head and big eyes. So if you take a look at all the Benis, let's take a look at the information from all the Benis. Okay, let's say this Beni Anode here, we have the ID number 356. The name is Jess. Okay, the date of birth is 3rd March 1995. The phone number is displayed. The class is 5B. The tutor is methodology. The room is 56. So you can see all the data of this Beni. You can see all the data from this Beni. Now let's take a look at this Beni. The ID number is 416. The name is Hamad or Hamid. The date of birth is 12 November 1994. The phone number displayed. The class is 5B. And the teacher is Mr. Nori. And the room is 56. So this is information from the next student. And then another student, different information. You can see the names are not the same. The numbers, ID numbers are never the same. This is Sita. And this is 9 January 1994. This is the phone number, class 6Y. The class tutor is Miss Take. And room is 18. This is Ahmad again. Why Ahmad is repeated? ID number is 516. Okay, maybe different Ahmad. Born 3rd March 1995. Phone number display, class 5B, tutor Mr. Lodgy, and the room is 56. So you can see every student got his own unique data. okay, you will see that each student has some unique data, okay, which are associated with things like their names, things like their date of birth, things like their phone number, things like their classes, and so on and so forth. So we want to store this data in a very, very specific, in a very, very organized, in a very, very structured manner, okay, in such a way that we can easily access it anytime we want to access the data. So we want to organize it, we want to save it and organize it, we want to organize it and save it, we want to structure it, we want to give it a very nice look so that in the future we can refer back to it. So we want to create what we call, in this case, the school will be creating what we call the student database. The school will be creating what we call the student database, using all the different students' information. So how do we organize this data now? How do we organize it into one data? But before then, let's begin to define some parameters that we use in creating database. The first one is a record. What is a record? What is a record? A record is the set of data associated with a single object or single person. So your record, Benny Anodeye's record. Okay, this is Jess, which we literally, for fun, literally we call Benny Anodeye. Okay, so this is Jess' record. This is Jess' record. So all the details regarding his ID number, his name, his date of birth or her date of birth, her phone number, her class, her teacher, her room in the class. So all of these have been itemized, have been clearly indicated here. So this is called Jess record. So a record is a set of data that is associated with only one person. A set of data that is associated with only one person. It includes your different information. It includes your different information such as your date of birth, your name, your ID number, your classroom, your phone number, your blah, 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 your blah, 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 all your informations. Okay, it's called your record. So a record is data set or set of data that is only associated with one object, one person, one individual. Okay, when we're looking at the data from one individual, whether you're giving the various data, as long as you're talking about one person or one object, it's called a record. Okay, so we get that clear. So a database is a collection of records. So when you want to define database, you say a database is a collection of different records from different students. So if you're building a student database, it's just simply just like the way you define set in maths. You say it's a collection of data. Oh, okay. In this case, we say a database is a collection of records. Collection of records, not just a record. Collections of records from these different individuals, different students, different students. Okay. So the collection of records is called a database. It's called a database from all the students. It's called a database. You can imagine a single record being a card. If you want to understand it, let's say this record of Jess, let's put them in a card. We write every student's record in a card. So you put each card, you do for all the students, you take all the records of all the students in the individual cards. So if I take one card, I'll put the record of Hamad or Hamid. If I take another card, I'll put the record of Saliu. If I take another card, I put the record of Umar. Take another card, put the record of Fauzia. Take another card, put the record of Faiz. Take another card, put the record of Jess. Take another card, put the record of Yugo Shuko. So we take cards and put the record of each person. Okay, when we put all the records together, we can put them in a box. The box can be modeled as the database. The box now is modeled as the database. Are you together? So the box is the database because it's an organization, a structured organization of various informations, of various records by various or different individuals. So database is a collection of records, and we said we can imagine using cards with one of the details of the card or written on one person written on one card. So a database will be a box full of these different cards. Put all the cards in a box. The box itself is the database. The box itself is the database. Okay, the records are from every different student. Each card is from a different student. Each card represents a unique student. And if you put all of them in a box, then we call that a database. Okay, each student has their own record, just like Jess' record, but different data. Now in the record, there are different data. There are ID data like numerical data, you have alphanumeric data, you have date data, you may even have currency data, you may have different types of data, right? In each record you have different data, but each record has the same structure. Every record is same structure. Even if the information is different, same structure, same ID number, same, like you must put ID number, name, date of birth, phone number, class, tutor, and room. Then you now put each student's various students' information on it. So these unique records are same for the different records, for the different cards. They're same. They have the same structure. Despite they have different, we are talking about different records, they have the same structure. Why do they have same structure? Each one has ID card number, each one has a name followed by a name, followed by date number, followed by phone number, followed by class, followed by tutor, followed by room. So for all the cards, these are the records or the structure of the records that you're going to find. The structure of the records that you're going to find in it. So we say the data in each record is different. The data is different. If you look at the data, this is 365 for Jess. But if you take for another student, the ID number for Hamad is 412. It's not 356. It's not 356. It's not 356. It's 412 for Hamad. So the data name is different. This is Jess. The other one is Hamad. You can see name is different. The data are different, but the structure is the same. We're following after ID number, the next in the structure is name. So the next here in the structure is name. After name, the next in the structure is date of birth. The next in the structure is date of birth for this. For this also same. For this also same. The next in the structure is all same. After date of birth, the next that follows in the structure is phone number. For all, it will be phone number, phone number, phone number. It will all follow because same structure. Then after phone number is class. They are class. For this student class, for this student class, for this student class. So the structure is same, but the data that is filled into it, they're different because you're filling for different students. The data that you enter into it, they're different because we're doing for different students. So that's the point we're trying to make. The structure is all same, but the data that goes with it for each different student is different. Okay, now we say that each record contains the same field. Each record contains, this is a record, this card, the whole card is one record. The whole card is a record. This record contains the same field because the structure is same. They contain the same field. Now, if we say they contain the same field, then what is a field in database? What is a field in data? We say each record contains the same field. If that is the term that we use now, what is a field? What is a field and what is a field name? We should know what is a field and what is a field name. Now you see that each of the students' record contain the same item. They contain the same item. These items are known as field. Same item like ID number, name, date of birth, phone number, class, tutor, and room. They contain the same thing. This structure contains the same field. Okay? This name is called field. These names of the general name we use to describe, since they all contain the same thing, look at it. This ID number, name, date of birth, same here. ID number, name, date of birth, ID number, name, date of birth, phone. You know, they're all same. That's what we call a field. That's what we call the field. Each one. So we say that you see that each student's record contains the same item. These items are known as fields. Now, for example, the first field is what? ID number. The first field is a ID number. Each field has a field name. What's the name? Like ID number is the field name. Okay, this field, it has a name. The name is ID number. This one has a name. The name is date of birth. The field name here is, this is a field. It's like, a field is like the line now. This is a line. What's the field name? Date of birth. Then you put the person's date of, the date the person was born. The day, the month, and the year. You fill it up. Okay? Everyone has a field. Each line is just like a field. And each one has a name. Each field has a name. So the name of this field, this third field, is date of birth. That's the name of the field. Each field will contain different data. Of course, they will contain different data. You know why? Because your date of birth is different from Jess' date of birth, is different from Hama's date of birth, and it's different from Hugo Shoko's date of birth, is different from Silly's date of birth, Sarah's date of birth is different. So uniquely, we have different dates of birth. We are not all born on the same day. Okay, so we say each field contains different data. Why? Because we don't have the same data. They are different students. So each field we have different data. Like I said, we represent a field as the line, as a single line. And each field has a name. The name is this unique one. This unique one which every one of them has. You see, there is like ID number for this one. Name is for this one. The field name for this one is called name. The field name for this third line is called date of birth. The field name for this is phone. The field name for the fifth line is class. So each one has a field name. And different data has to go in because each card belongs to a different student, or each record. Is that you say a card for simplicity, or you say a record. Each record belongs to different students. So we say each field contains different data in each of the records, in each of them. If you open all the record, each of the record you look at it, it will contain different data because they belong to different students. Now if you look at Jess' record, the phone field is given to be 7564356. This if you look at another Hama's phone number, it's going to be different. It's not the same as Jess' phone number. So the record or the data are different, even if they're on the same field. They're different. Okay? So it can be a bit confusing sometimes, but what's the difference between a field, the field name, and the data in the field? So we already know what is a field. A field is that line. The field name is the title of that field. And the data is what we type in for every field name. Is what follows every field name. Is that okay? So to make it clearer, this is the line. Okay? This is the line. The field name is the date of birth. That's the field name. The field is the line itself, where you enter the date of birth that you enter. Okay? Then the data is also this. The field is the line. Like when I say the line, the space, the whole space is the field. Where you type in is the field. The line you type in is the field. Okay? So I think that word will make it clearer. The space you have, the line space you have, the font, where you type in is the field. The title in front of where you are typing in is the field name. And the data is what you enter into it is the data. What you enter into that space. The space is the field where you are typing in. The space is the space or the line where you have to type in is the field. And what you type in it is the data. What you type in it is the data. What you enter into it is the data. The name is that in front of you. It's just like you fill a form. You fill a form. You go to a hospital or you go anywhere, or you're looking for admission, you have to fill a form. They already tell you what you write at every point. They say, here, write your son name. That your son name is the field name. Last name, or even if they don't use son name, they say last name, first name. That first name is the field name. Is the field name. That space where you write is the field. That space where you write is the field. That thing you write in it is the data. What you now write in it, you write Abudu Yoko Shoko. That is the data. What you write is the data. What the space where you're writing on is the field. But what they tell you, the instruction in front of it, before you wrote, before you know what to write, is the field name. Is the field name. I hope this is clear enough. Okay, so the field is the box where you write, where you type. Okay, that's the field. Is the box where you write in. The field name is the label next to the box, the label, like the specific instruction that tells you what to write. If the instruction is date of birth, that's the instruction. They are asking you for the day you were born. So that's the instruction. That will be the field name. And then what you write is the data. What you write in that box is the data. Now, what is a key field and primary key? Because this is also very important when we're doing database. It's usual for a code or ID number to be used as the key field. Sometimes we use the code or the ID number as the key field. And in the example, we could have used the student name as the key field. But this would be a bad idea if we use the name, if we use the student name. So sometimes we use the ID. Why? Because two or more students could have the same name, right? Two or more students might have the same name. So it's a bad idea to say the key field is the student name. Okay, so it's better to probably choose something like ID. So the name would not be able to identify each student uniquely, because we saw in our card we have two Hamad. We have two students that are Hamad. Hamad is here, ID number 412. Ahmad is here, ID number 51502. So we have two Ahmad. So if you use a name as the key field, you may have run into trouble. You may run into trouble because you may have two students that have the same field. But no two students have the same ID number. No two students have the same ID number. ID numbers are uniquely given to students, and they differ from different students. So the key, when we choose a key field, we usually use the ID number, not the name of the student. So we say it's very important that every record in a database can be individually identifiable. Like it's personally identifiable. It can be like represent a unique student. That's the point. Represent a unique student. Every record represents a unique student. So we need to be sure that when we assess a record, we are assessing the correct one. We are assessing the correct student. Even if they have the same name, we are assessing the correct person that we intended to assess. So we take a look at our students, for example, the one we've demonstrated or we've shown. What items of data identify them from all of the other students? What differentiates them from all of the other students? Name? No. Because two people can have the same name. Name does not differentiate you from other students. If you are called Hamid, another person can be Berry Hamid. Okay? In fact, sometimes, funny enough, two people not from the same family can bear the same name, both name and last name, first name and last name. You can have Yusuf Musa and Yusuf Musa, and they are not from the same, they are not even from the same country. It happens that they bear the same first name and same last name. It happens in Cambridge because people from different countries are writing the exams. So you can have two names that are same. But what differentiates you? What differentiates you could be your. Even people can have coincidental date of birth. So date of birth cannot be the unique identifier. Cannot be the unique identifier of a various record. We cannot use date of birth. Two people can have same date of birth, and lots of people have coincidental date of birth. If you want to check, go to Facebook. You see, on this day, you have like 5 people. Facebook will inform you. About 5 of your friends that are celebrating birthday today. Yeah? So, because Facebook is a huge world classical database. So, you see, 2 or more people have the same, so it cannot be a unique identifier of any individual. The date of birth cannot be a unique identifier because people have same birthday. So it's out. Name is out, date of birth is out. Even phone number is out. Phone number, no, cannot be a unique identifier because 2 or more people can have same phone number. Yeah, 2 or more students may live at the same address, so their number may be same. Okay, yeah, their number may be same. You use 2 brothers from the same house, they fill in their house phone. Probably they don't have their own private phone. They fill in their house phone. in their form. Yes, they fill their home phone or they are filling their father's phone number in their form. So same phone number. We have this in our database already. In school database, in the university database, you see that you have two students. They have the same number. Why? They live in the same house. They're from the same place. They fill in the same phone number. So phone number is not a unique identifier for when we are checking your records in a database. So what is it, your class? No, hell no. 5-10 people can be in the same class. Like you saw in Jess and Hamad, they're in the same 5B. 5 or more people can be in the same class, can even be in the same room. If you're in the same class, obviously, probably most of the time, you're in the same room. So room is not a unique identifier, hence cannot be the primary key to identify the unique student or records. So what can we then use to begin to, something that must identify enough? Cannot identify any of the students. Something that can identify Jess and will not identify any of the students. Okay? It's your ID. Because when you are in the same school, when you enroll for a school, you're given an ID number. That ID number cannot tally with any other person's ID number. Cannot tally with any other person. Like, it's also called matric number. When you join a university, they give you a matric number. Your matric number is not in any way same with any other student's matric number or ID number. Cannot clash. Cannot. Uniquely, this is you. Your matric number is you. It's what defines you. It's what defines you. Cannot be uniquely same with other students. So we have given each student an ID number. And we can guarantee that this number will be unique for every student throughout the database. Throughout the creation of the database, every student has got his own unique number. And that's what will be used to create the student in the database. Okay? Every student got his own matric number, unique number that defines them. So even if we have two students bearing the same name, it is their number that will tell us whose record are we looking at. Is it Jess? Is it Hamad 412 or Hamad 502? So we know that, okay, this is the different Hamad. Hamad 502 is different from Hamad 412, so we know who we are talking about. So that's it. That's what ID number. Now the ID number is the ID field to use to uniquely identify each individual's record. The ID number now defines every individual record. Remember, a record is for one object or one person. So we call this field the key field. The whole field is called the key field or the primary key. So this field, the ID number field, is the key field or the primary field. Now let's view the database viewed as a table. Let's take a look at the database as a table. Because here, as a table, you will not key every student into it. Every student will be in it. Now, it is quite common to view the contents of the database as a table. Most of the time when we create database, we put them in a tabular form. And what we use in creating database is Microsoft Access. Easy way to create a database. We have other means of creating database, but at this level, we use the Microsoft Access. The tabular view of a database is exactly the view that you see when you're working with your database software, e.g. the Microsoft Access. So when you open Microsoft Access and you open the Cambridge series of questions, you will see a table. When you are able to log in and you're able to start deploy the values, you will see a table, a compact table like this. So we say a table is used instead of just one record at a time. Instead of showing one record at a time, we view everything in a tabular form. So a tabular view is compact, is easy, is compressible, is easy. It's like we put everything in one space and we can see easily, and allows you to see a lot of record in one time. That's what I mean by you can see easily. You can see a lot of record. Now take a look at this table. let's say these are student database that we have few students. 356 is Jess. This is the ID number for Jess. You can see Jess date of birth. You can see Jess. This is the field where we type. This is the data. The place we type is the field, and the field name is the phone. Okay, so you can see the class it belongs, the tutor, and the room. So for this student, you've seen all the data. For student Hamad, the first Hamad 412, you see all the data, the name, the date of birth, the phone, the class, the teacher, and the room. So for Sita, you see the number, the date of birth. So you can view everyone together. Or like when they were all like this. When they were all like this, it's not easy to view everyone one time glassy through everything. So we create a database, we create a unique structure that is easy for us to glass through at a time. So that arrangement, putting everybody in one tabular form for easy glassy, for easy use, for easy accessibility is called a database. Putting all the data together in a structural manner, in an easy to see manner, in an easy to understand manner, in an easy to access manner is what we call a database. Is what we call a database. Is that okay? Putting all the different students in rows and columns. Creating a table in rows and columns to show all the students' record is what we call a database. Now each row of the table corresponds to the data records. Every row is a record. Record for one student or one object. Record for one student or one record, one object. Every row. If you look at the second row, okay, you can say the third row, but second row from the time we start looking at the records, if you undermine the heading. Okay, third row. First row is the heading that is showing all the field names, right? That show all the various field names. Then the third row, if you look at the third row, you see Hamad 412, okay? And in the third row, you can look at the various records, right? Now, you see here, you say one record. This is one record for one student. All the record for one student. Okay? That's what we see in that row. The first row, the column heading corresponds to database field names. I already said this. The column heading is the database field names. Okay? The heading is the field names. The various field names. Okay, the database field names. Then, if you take a look at each cells on the table correspond to a field. Every cell is a field where you type in the data. Every cell in the table is a field where we type in the data. Every cell is a field where you type in the data. What you type in is the data itself. What you type in is the data itself. Okay, what you type in is the data itself. So we say each cell in the table corresponds to the field, and it contains the item data. It contains the data. Now here the date of birth. Here you have the date of birth, right? Because it's under this date of birth of who? Of Hamad 412, unique Hamad. Okay, date of birth, and the field for student 412 is the field for student 412, meaning we are looking at the structure of student 412. Okay, then the next is the types of database. We're going to study the types of database probably in our next class.